5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve. This is Live with Neve. Iconic musicians, comedy, and God knows what else. Hold on!
All right. How's everybody doing? Here we are on this inauguration day, and we're having the kind of, aren't watching any politics. I've been hearing it for a long time. I'm chilling, having fun, and I have a great guest on. I always refer to Ronnie. I have to be careful because some of my other friends might think they're the elder statesman of rock and roll in Tampa Bay, but I don't. I think Ronnie's the man. It goes back and forth. I have so many friends. Please don't be offended, but I've just been following Ronnie around for a long time, watching what he's been doing for decades now, and I just love the man. This guy writes some great songs, and there's so many artists out there that there's so much effects, and we got pitch control, and all I could say is if I was producing Ronnie, I'd just to fool with him, I'd come on and say, okay, that was pretty good, Ronnie. You can go home now. I'm going to just cut that up and lay in all your vocal tracks. I'm going to put some auto-tune on to make it sound like some of that new country, or I'd fuck it all up. He'd probably fucking hit me, or at least tell me, I think you need to take a breath and rethink your strategy. But I don't know what he'd tell me. He'd probably say, I just don't do that. Without any further ado, Ronnie Elliot, I'm going to ask him some questions about his past. He's going to be playing some music. We're going to have a great time. We do have some great guests coming on today, too. I'll talk about them at the end of the show, but they're in the studio on another set, and they're getting ready to go in about an hour. Life is good. I hope you all are feeling good. I hope the sunshine is shining wherever you're at. And I look forward to hearing your questions. If you want to talk to Ronnie, just type in over on the right side. Give us your comments. I already see one here, so let me just open it up. Oh, okay. Here's my gal in LA, Toby Simmons. All you rock and rollers who are friends of mine, you want to like and friend her page, and I'll just tell you because she will hook you up. She has lots of musician friends around the globe, and she's my girl in LA. And if I need to know what the hell is going on out there, aside from their lovely weather report, I tell you, Toby's the girl. Any rate, she's got skills. She's wearing shorts. She's out in Encino. Apparently last night there was an incident. There was a cave guy who actually was a member of our fan club who was lurking in the shadows out there in Encino. He's known as Encino Weedman. Any rate, without any ado, here we go. We got Ronnie Elliot, the man, the myth, the legend. Come on in, Ronnie. Here he is. How are you, man?
I'm good.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
How's the weather in Tampa? I got asked, so I'm jealous.
70 degrees and sunny. And it's going to get warmer. I think we're going up to like 72 today. Yeah.
Well, I think we're like, I don't know. I want to say we're somewhere between 25 and 30. As best I can reckon, I did sleep with the window open because we have radiators in this house, and that's the best thing. Just have the window cracked a little bit to get the fresh air, but you put your towel on, so in the morning you go to get a shower and you feel all warm. Nothing like I do in Florida. Hell, I'd take a shower in cold water and just walk off and air dry, But so what have you been up to, man? What's
Nothing
happening?
at all.
Nothing at all. Are you having fun?
Huh?
Are you having fun?
Yeah. I've enjoyed it all. I mean, in the middle of the sad,
Sure.
I've enjoyed the solitude, I suppose. So.
Sure. I know a lot of people tell me that, and a lot of folks are doing things they didn't have time to do before. Hell, that's what I'm doing. I'm not sitting behind a drum kit banging things. I'm making more obnoxious sounds with my mouth than I do with a drum kit, having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, I don't really do anything, and I don't feel guilty about it.
Well, that's the best, man. That's a sign of a life well lived. Hey, tell me, have you ever done any gigs with Roy Bookbinder?
Yeah.
Over the years?
Yeah. Not recently, but over the last 30 years, 40 years, we've done quite
right. That's what I figured. I know you guys have known each other. We had him on a couple of weeks ago, and Roy is hilariously funny, and
he is.
He's a gem of a man. If you want to have a good hang, And I could just sit and talk music and let him talk for 3 hours because, man,
Oh, you
he's
got
got,
great stories. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, hanging with Dylan in his apartment and all the people he worked with. It's just fun stuff. And, all of us in this industry, it's always so cool. I'm not a star. I don't go up to people and, beg them to sign an autograph. I just go up and say, how you doing, and when you make friends, you find out how many great musicians, like if I didn't have musicians for friends, hell, I wouldn't have any, and half of my family wouldn't talk to me. I'm kidding. My family loves me. I'm just busting them. They're going to watch us and go, listen to that little shit. I didn't teach them anything. But hey, man, you want to play some music?
I certainly can. I've got a guitar in my hand.
Well, I think that's what you're sent here to do, man. Amen. Thank you, Lord, for hooking us up. Here we go. Ronnie Elliot, everybody, live from Tampa, Florida, the elder statesman, the younger statesman, man. You should be in a GQ magazine.
I'd like to think there's somebody older, but I can't think of anybody.
All right, man. Check it out.
When I was just a kid in Birmingham and Uncle Murray, turn on the radio, Hank Williams. Music was the only thing they'd play. And then I found WLAC, and late at night Muddy Waters would sing to me. Those same 3 chords still ring in my heart today. It's the same 3 chords, joy they bring. It's not black or white, doesn't mean a thing. It's a hillbilly music, blues they play. Those same 3 chords I'm playing today. And I found Elvis to change my life, and I saw Bo Diddley at the Armory. Talked my mother into buying my first electric guitar. Sit alone in my room at night and tried to make the damn thing sound alright. I thought those 3 chords were gonna make me a star. Then the Beatles turned my head around, and I can Tina Turner set my soul on fire. And I promised myself a life as a music man. I played the blues, I thought I did, but John R. wasn't gonna spin any hillbilly kid. It's back to those same 3 chords in a rock and roll band. The same 3 chords, the joy they bring. It's not black or white, doesn't mean a thing. It's rockabilly music, rhythm and blues they play. Those same 3 chords I'm playing today. I'm not hearing you.
Yes. Thank you, Julie. We miss you, baby. At any rate, what I was going to say is if you can't figure out the words to that song and what it's about, well, you haven't learned the English language. That is a great song, and I think there's a lot of truth in that. A 3-chord song, I mean, look at the Rolling Stones or Bo Diddley or any number of
Yeah, that might be one too many.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But that's, I think sometimes a song like that, I can hear it sitting here just thinking about it. Just you with that guitar, I could think in my head as a musician, if I was going to produce that, I'd go, oh man, I can do all kinds of shit with this. And I don't mean that to make it too big and, grandiose, because I think a lot of folk music, I'd just really rather record with 2 microphones or a binaural head and a really nice hall that's just got the right sound and the right amount of bodies. So it all sounds just like it's hard to improve on the sound of a good guitar and just a microphone when somebody knows how to sing. And, you know, a guy like me, I'm certainly not going to get any awards for being an opera singer, but I do my job.
Right either.
Yeah. Well, you know, you don't have to be, though, because if you can convey emotion and the song is the right song with the right artist, or like if you write it yourself and it's coming out of your heart, I mean, it's hard to beat that. I love, like, Phil Spector had just passed. I would almost say, well, I love Phil, but man, he'd have Ronnie up there with, I mean, it was the wall of sound with Ronnie Elliot. I don't know, have you ever, when you were younger, done any records that were just like, you were trying to do something and you realized, hey, maybe I ought to just stick with what I'm doing, or had any of those kind of moments where somebody...
Well, actually, even with producers that I've worked with, most stuff has stayed pretty simple, but it's always been rock and roll bands. Well, I have worked with producers who brought in more studio girls and extra studio drummers, and that we didn't really need, sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I guess the song always, to me, you know, there's so many different things. People don't understand what a producer does and how much they can affect, make something good or bad. Or sometimes I like guys who are smart enough to know when to just shut up and capture what you've got going on real well. A well-sung vocal, no freaking auto-tune, any of that crap. I was joking, poking fun at you. I could just imagine you looking at me going, I don't need any auto-tune.
If you ran a Ronnie Elliot record through auto-tune, it would probably take all the vocals off.
Yeah, man. I can imagine the same thing with Roy. He would not be too happy if somebody suggested he need. You know, he's a feisty guy, man. I just bring it up just to see what he's going to say about it, because I can laugh all week on some of the things he comes up with. He has a wicked sense of humor. Just really a funny guy. So let's just talk briefly. What's going on in the Tampa music scene? I see some of my friends, Janelle Sedler is she's out working, and I see people a lot doing like beach gigs, socially distant. But how is it to your perspective?
I have some friends who are working regularly, but I don't even go out and
right.
Anything. I'm going to stick around the house. And my friend Rebecca Pulley seems to be playing out.
Yeah.
Now, and I know several people who are, but I played one show during the entire pandemic, and they live streamed it, but that was it. That's the only time I've been out at all.
Right. Well, I'd like to have her on. I've been talking to her, but there's been some deaths in the family, the musical family, and so forth. Sean passed away, Malone, the bass player, and she was tight with him, and so kind of waiting for a little more cheery time, sometimes timing's everything, and she's a great talent. And I just, I've been watching her too, and watching you and a bunch of my other friends. Our music scene is so cool and fun. It's great. I see Julie's here lurking in the background. I'm about to bring her on. Julie, I see you're here. I'm going to bring you on and say hello to Ronnie.
Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Good. How are you, Julia?
Great. Nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
Good.
So what's happening, Julie? You got a few questions for Ronnie? I've been just sitting here talking shit.
Well, music. I've been, geez, boy, there's so much. Where to start? Gosh, what do you have coming up? Do you have something new coming up?
Ready.
Oh, you did? Oh, see,
we covered it. Ask him about how he started playing at Curtis Hickson. That's something I'm going to feed you.
Yeah. How did that start?
How did what start playing where?
With Curtis Hickson?
Oh, let's see. Well, I guess the first show that I played at Curtis Hickson that I can remember was on the Dave Clark Park.
Sorry, man. I've been video fucking around here.
So we did it was on a bill of the Dave Clark Park in 1965. And, well, since then, I ended up with a lot of shows. Canned Heat. And I promoted a lot of shows, record, and Janis Joplin, she got arrested.
Ronnie, let me ask you to pause for 1 second. Can you turn down your playback a little bit? because it's echoing back. Just turn it down to where you can hear it, but I don't want you to have to struggle to hear us. I just want what you're saying is good, and
Is that better?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I opened for Jimi Hendrix at Curtis Hickson, and played with Chuck Berry and Gene Vincent and the Coasters. Promoted a show for Donovan. Over the years, I did a lot at Curtis Hickson. It was.
Yeah, I know that, and I'm curious. Like, I know you have some history with Elvis, the one and only.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about how did when you were opening up for some of these folks,
Mm-hmm.
how were they? Was it different than it is? Were people more friendly, like folks like Elvis or any of the bands you've talked about opening for? How did they treat you guys as an opening act? Is that something that was different, or did you get like I've been treated great by some bands and terrible by others?
Well, over the years, with people that I have opened for or done things with, for the most part, the people that I like the most have been just wonderful, sweet people. Just very friendly and a pleasure to be around. The few exceptions have been really horrible.
Right.
I don't like John Fogerty, and I never will.
Yeah,
And
tell us a little bit about John. I'm curious.
He's the nastiest little guy I've ever been around.
Really? He's really wow. And I know you've met a lot of jackasses in Tampa, my friend, and around the country and world, but
he takes the cake. Geography irrelevant to the situation. He's just
wow.
Not a nice guy. And I'm just such a fan too. And I've got to say that I'll make an exception for him because I'm such a fan that it doesn't really matter. Chuck Berry I worked with Chuck Berry quite a bit, and on a good night, on a fun night, he was the nicest guy in the world.
Right.
Those other nights, not so friendly. And you could never tell which it was going to be. You could never tell which Chuck Berry was going to show up. So.
Some people can kind of be kind of difficult just in their makeup. I once had a reggae band I opened up for, and I won't say who they were, but the guy's pretty well known. And we were playing at the Ritz with him, and his whole band were like, they're from the islands. They're huge in Europe. They're pretty big in America. He's up there, one of the progenitors of reggae, up there with Bob and Peter Tosh and a lot of people. I won't say anything other than I went to the gig and I had to use an electronic drum kit, which I thought would be easy because I had like 3 gigs that day, and we had to go do that. And then, so while I'm playing, I remember what I asked him was, let me think what I asked him to do. Oh, I asked him if I could play his kit rather than set mine up. Now, they had one white guy in the band who was a drummer, and the rest of them were all Rastafari. So I looked just like another mayonnaise-colored schmuck drummer who couldn't play reggae to save my ass compared to them. So at first, the talent, he goes, "That's my drum kit, man. Fuck that. Nobody played drum set, And so we got back in the dressing room, and I started to try and schmooze the guy. Went over and smoked my best weed with him, and I said, "Look, man, how about this? I've got like $100 bill. It's like 3 months of pay for me as a drummer. How about I go ahead and give you this $100, and if I break any damn thing," and I said, "I'll use my own pedal. I'll use my own snare if you'd like, depending on what your drummer wants." And the drummer was like, "Oh man, you can use my shit." And I won't say the name. He says, I don't really like people playing on it. Then he acquiesced when I joked with him. I told him, "I'll give you $100. And he went, "No, I don't need your money, man. He had more money than I'll ever have." He probably still does. I'm sure he's not worried about, any cash tonight. So he let me use it. I used my pedal. And what happens? My pedal had been in service and serviced meticulously. I'd been using it for 2 or 3 years, checked it all the time, had an extra in my box. But in the middle of the show, like right at the end, the pedal snaps off, the beater just flies off, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm playing on my floor tom to fill in the kick parts, and it got kind of distressing. And my roadie guy and road manager, sound man, he was sitting there, and basically he didn't notice what was happening. And I just was filling it in, but the drummer was sitting there watching us. He comes running out, clamps on a pedal his, and I was just off to the races. So we had such a great time with him, and it was a happy ending. But, you know, some people you just never know. On the exception, on the other side, who have you met who's like really cool that you didn't know if they'd be cool? Have you met people that surprised you in any way?
Well, yeah, when we promoted a show at Curtis Hickson for Donovan. I did 2 shows in a day, as a matter of fact, because we sold out the first one. And he had a reputation of being very difficult at that time. It was sort of his peak. It was during Barabba Jaggle and all that stuff. You know, he was really, really doing well.
Right.
And we had been told that he was very, very difficult, and that not to say anything to him and not to bother him. And
right.
My friend Spencer and I opened the doors in the middle of the afternoon at Curtis Hickson, not having any idea there's anything going on. And so the light coming in from the outside shone up on the stage, and Donovan was sitting there doing a sound check, and he stopped. And I thought, uh-oh, now we've done it. And he said, come on in. And we went in, and he introduced himself. And I said, wasn't that a Buddy Holly song you were playing? And he said, yeah, I'm working on a new album that's going to be all Buddy Holly music.
Oh, nice.
I've never heard any more of that, but just the nicest guy in the world. And he was like that, you know, just all evening, all day and all evening. He was just a great guy.
Right.
Elvis was, you know, one of the sweetest people I ever met in my life, just too polite to walk away, you know, so.
Let's talk about Elvis, your history. I know a bit of it because we've talked before. For anybody watching, we're sitting here with Ronnie Elliot, the main man in Tampa. I can't wait to get down there, man. I want to have a bunch of us, they're all in this musical family, kind of get together somewhere. I'm really hoping that, you know, I can call one of my friends who's got a club and get a whole bunch of fun people together and, you know, do a show live, have some music, good PA, and lots of fun and frolicking in the Tampa area. So tell me about Elvis. How did you meet him? How did it start with your mom and all those other factors?
Well, the stuff with my mom, I never actually met him back at that time in 1955 and 56, you know, the first times that he played in Tampa. My mother worked with a girl, Evelyn Gold. Actually, Evelyn is still alive, but she was the president of the first Elvis Presley fan club. I mean, not the first one in Tampa, the first one, period.
Wow.
And Elvis used to stay with Evelyn when he was playing in Tampa, the 3 shows he did.
Wow.
So my mother went to work one day after one of the shows, and Evelyn said, Maxine, you were on the phone all night last night, weren't you? And my mother said, I was on the phone some. I don't know why. She said, because Elvis tried to call Ronnie all night and your phone was busy.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah. That was, you know, just one of those things. But here I am still telling the story after this amount of time. Obviously, I never got over it. But Evelyn used to give me all this great Elvis stuff. I still have lots of autographed pictures from the Armory here that I wouldn't have otherwise. But in 1960, I guess the summer of 1960, when they were filming Follow That Dream in Crystal River, I started trying to get anybody who was old enough to drive to take me up to Crystal River to see Elvis. So the first day we went up, and the sun was just coming up, and I, you know, found all these Cadillacs with Tennessee plates, and figured, well, this looks promising. And sure enough, Elvis strolled out after a while, and he stood and talked and signed things. And so I started to go up, you know, almost every day. Every day I could get anybody to drive up, I would go up. My mother and my grandmother went. Sometimes my grandmother made him a coconut cake and took him. And but, you know, he would just sit around and talk. My grandmother, in fact, told him about all of these, how when I was a kid in elementary school, I was always in fights defending Elvis's honor in school.
All right, man. What a guy.
Oh, yeah. And Elvis said, oh, I could teach you something to take care of that. And I said, karate? I didn't know what karate was. I just read the word karate. You know, I knew Elvis had been taking karate. And he said, yeah. So he offered to teach me karate. Of course, he never did. But
That's funny.
He was just so nice and so polite. He would be late to a movie shoot to keep from walking off from any of us.
Right. What a guy.
Yeah, unbelievable guy.
Hold on a minute. I want to show you something I have here that is kind of fun. Here we have Elvis is watching over us, everybody.
Thank goodness.
Let's see, this was from Port Orange, Florida. And this portrait's been hanging in my studio for the past 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
I always like to think Elvis is sitting there hanging out going, Neil, you kind of really suck sometimes. You got to stay off that peanut butter and plastidil sandwiches, trust me. Bad stuff. Those drugs are bad. I always wanted to be a fly on the wall when Elvis got to meet Richard Nixon. I thought that must have been just the most surreal. I mean, I've looked at the footage and Elvis is like totally, he looks like me in the 90s. He's kind of stumbling. He looks a little baked, and Richard Nixon was not like a guy who you get warm and fuzzy with, I don't think. I don't think he could ever I don't believe the guy emoted much or, no. He was pretty much, a tricky dick. Not a crook. Oh, yeah. But, those times were weird. And I guess Elvis he wanted a badge or something from the FBI, I believe. And I think that's just
he wanted to be deputized as an undercover agent, I think was his letter to the White House. Right.
Yeah. Can you imagine that conversation?
No.
Yes, sir. We have this Elvis Presley. He'd like to appear on the show, but he has some unusual requests. He wants to be a deputy of the FBI, special agent. And I can see, I don't know, if I was Nixon, I would have been like, well, how much did he donate to my fucking campaign this year? Get him on the phone to Rizzuto. But, I wonder how that whole conversation behind the scenes went, because knowing how polite Elvis was, I imagine, most people I know, if you're a happy guy, you're kind of a happy drunk most of the time. And I imagine Elvis was just having a great time. He's like, man, I'm partying with the president of the United States, man. I'm in the Oval Office. I know no matter who's president, if they asked me to come on in, I'd be like, yes, sir. I'd have to just check it out. But in those days especially, it was just such a different time. And, Elvis with the whole sexual awakening of our country and the young people of the 50s and 60s. I mean, he scared the hell out of a lot of people.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get what Elvis was about. But then I with all the streaming and stuff, I ended up with his whole collection of music in my iTunes collection. And I just started to really listen because I covered a couple of his songs. Wise Men Fail, everybody did it. UB40 did it. The band played it. So, I've horsed around. Who does it?
Arlo Guthrie does a great version of it.
Oh, man, I'll bet. In fact, it's funny you brought him up. I'm hoping to have him on February, maybe in March. We've talked briefly. I met him decades ago when he lived up in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. So we used to go hang out. He had a little softball team, and we were too young. We'd go up there and watch him play. And there was a lot of musicians hanging around is why we would go. We'd bring our shitty guitars and hope we'd get to hang with Arlo. And he was a really nice guy to a couple of young hippies. And he kind of liked the fact that we dug him because we were really pretty young compared to his average age guy. But we were just anybody had a guitar and could do something good. We were over there. And, I'm the kid who's always getting beat up for banging crap on the table. And stop that, Van Herty. Don't make any snide comments. But let me ask you this. How were you in high school? And what kind of a kid were you back then? You're a real gentleman, and I've always seen that in you. I think your mama raised you good, as we would say. What was it like being a musician in high school and stuff? How were you treated?
Well, I've only realized in the last decade that I'm socially awkward and always was. And
right.
it wasn't until my junior year in high school, it was just as the Beatles were, really coming along. At the beginning of 1964, I grew my hair long, and I was the only kid in school with long hair. I wasn't considered a social threat. I was just more of a social miscast, So they would ask me to go home or to go home get my hair cut, but they never suspended me or did. I was the only one, so I was no threat to them in any way. So
Right.
sort of an outsider all the way around. But you know, I didn't realize it. I didn't think of it that way, so it didn't make too much difference.
Right. Well, you know, I always kind of made friends with the jocks just because I'm always kind of a nerd, and I could fix the projector that made their little movies play.
Yeah.
So some of them like it bounced me off the locker because I was a nerd. You know what? I know what I was, and I was a Poindexter. They're like, "Hey, Led Zeppelin, come over here. You fix the projector." It'd be like, if it would break, God forbid. When I spliced the tape back then, and I just used some crappy old whatever the teacher had, I spliced it back, and then I was golden, man. Those guys started hanging out with me, and they never bugged me again. It was kind of cool. So are you going to make some more music? Or you got some new songs that you're playing?
You know, I don't. I think the reason that I've recorded as much as I record is that that is a reason to write.
Right.
So I do write now. I always do, but I don't ever finish anything because I don't have any recording plans.
Okay.
And as long as there aren't LPs or CDs or anything that sell,
Right.
I don't really know. I hope I will record again, but I don't have any big plans. I don't exactly know what to do. You know.
Well, you never know. I might ring you up one of these days if I'm down in Tampa. Maybe we'll do something. I offer that up because, you know, I like audiophile recording and stuff, and folk music. It's not dead yet, but it smells a little funny to some people, and I'd like to give it, you know, keep it rocking. And you know, where will folk go? There's some great artists I've had come on the show who are young, and they get the Americana thing. I have to give an example of Sam. Julie Cumey, who's Sam?
Sam Rourke and
Rourke.
Nathan Nelson. Sam Rourke
Yeah.
and Nathan Nelson. They're both in the Kentucky area, I think, or I know Sam is, and
Nashville and Kentucky. They came out of the hollers of Kentucky. This girl's got an amazing life story. But getting back to it, how about we're going to go to a commercial break. We have the lovely and talented Reba Nicole coming up after you. But after we go to the break, how about we play a couple more songs? And then about 2 o'clock, anybody listening, you're live with Neve. And we've got Ronnie Elliot. We're going to play some more music, talk a little bit. And then we'll bring on Reba from Nashville, a lovely young lady. We've got John Spears chiming in. John Spear, for those of you who don't know, our show, we have specialists behind us, like teams of professionals, and we have our own paranormal investigator. He can go out. If you got a ghost, he's the man with the most. He'll come and clean that sucker out. I don't know. He's got some Ghostbuster type tools that he goes out with and vacuums it up. I always, when I talk to him on the show, we have Dr. Venkman join us because he's the recognized authority in New York City regarding ghostbustery, as we call it. We're hoping. Before I'm going to stop talking. Let's roll a commercial and let's move on.
okay, here we go.
Hi, this is Leland Sklar, and I am hanging with Neve, and I am having the best time of my life.
Live with Neve, Fridays on the East Coast from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here. You're not, but maybe you are. Thank you. Live with Neve, coming right up.
And I'm here too. Hi, everybody. See you next time.
Okay, back to me. Hi, everybody. I'm Jerry Murata. Coming this fall, the Live with Neve show, featuring the one, the only, the inimitable, Jerry Murata.
We keep that for the blooper reel. Try it one more time.
Here we are. No, that's I didn't.
That
That wasn't a mistake.
All right.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Moranis.
Live with Neve, Fridays on the East Coast from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
All right, all right. That was, I have to tell you, man, he honestly cracks me up every time. Jerry is just a funny guy and a hell of a drummer. But getting back for everybody, we're sitting here with Ronnie Elliot, an old friend of mine. He's on a CD that I produced, which you can't find anywhere. I don't know. They all sold out. We sold a couple thousand of them, if I recall right. But I have one somewhere. At any rate, Ronnie, let's play us something. What do you got? What do you got to play for us? Give us something pretty.
Well, I don't know if I have anything pretty.
Oh, I'm pretty.
You need
Turn
pretty
it
while
up,
I
man.
play.
All right. I'll work on my makeup.
You got the king of broken hearts and a heartbroken king. There's a line that separates them and it hardly means a thing. The Scarlet Riders reading aloud the purple prose along a road out of Memphis. We call the overdose. Haunted by tragedy, driven by desire. Two hearts full of song, soul full of fire. You got a mother load of music in a volunteer state, fighting dirty, talking physics to illuminate what the poets of the war show the boys of music grow, painting purple mountains fuchsia everywhere they go. Alcohol and dope, great hopes gone wrong, hillbilly hearts full of fire, soul in the song. Rock and roll hearts beating 4/4 time. Hope fades, truth balances in the name of the rhyme. With the sons of fortune knocking on the doors of desire, haunted by the tragedy and scorched by the fire. Got the tastemakers taking odds over periwinkle blue. Either this wallpaper goes or by God I do. You stand for the ones who need your help and you know it. With the heart of the warrior, spirit of the poet. Rock and roll hearts beating 4/4 time. Hope fades, truth balances in the name of the rhyme. Heard hope, politics, battleground stage. You got the possum on the bottle on stage with the shakes. The king's on the floor where he fell from the throne. I'm watching from the swamp and I'm chilled to the bone. The stuff I'm doing's not real and I know it. Invitation from Clovis. I'm about to blow it. Rock and roll hearts beating 4/4 time. Hope fades, truth balances in the name of the rhyme. Trading on your name for the sake of crime. Grace fades in the face of karma every time. Rock and roll hearts 4/4 time.
How you guys like that, man? That just makes me happy. That's one of my favorite songs of yours. I just love that tune to
Oh, thank
death.
you. That was a short version.
I know. I was like sitting here going, I just love this tune. Every time you play it, I dig it. Is this on any of your records?
It's on one of the records, yeah. It's
Okay.
Hope Fades is the name of it.
Say again, what's the name of it?
Hope Fades.
I like that song a lot. And hell, when we do some editing of this, I'd like to use that for some music when we talk about you. We'll I always love it now because Facebook, they don't want us to be able to put anything up that's not original. And I get everybody goes, yeah, it's mine. I can put it on there. And so I put it up, posted by permission of Ronnie Elliot, man. They can call you up. And
Yeah, don't mention my name. I violated their community standards with any link to my blog before Steve Bannon violated their community standards, before Donald Trump did. Yeah, it's like Sunday school. Everybody be nice. I don't know.
You know what? It's kind of like a sinister form of potty training. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are happy with the election, but good Lord, both sides just irritate the shit out of any thinking man or woman. I don't care who wins, and that's why I just sit here and it's like I believe it was Lyle Lovett who has a song called "Bears." You ever heard that song?
I remember that there was a song named Bears, but I don't remember the song.
And there's a line in it: "Me, I just bear up to my bewilderment."
Oh.
And I just love that line, and I love Lyle. And when we had Leland on, we were talking about Lyle, and I've loved Lyle. I've seen him every time I've ever had a chance, at least a half a dozen, maybe more. And so now that I have a few friends in LA who work with his manager, I'm not going to tell anybody, don't get your hopes up yet, but I'm looking forward to maybe grabbing Lyle for a few minutes of his wonderful day, and let's talk about his poetry and his songwriting, and hopefully he'll sing a song like you do. I love Lyle Lovett, and hell, man, I love your music too. I'm going to go buy an album or something off your site because I want to have that song. And I'll say this to everybody out there. Please help your musicians out there, help your friends in the business. Just be a cool person and help out where you can, when you can. And all right, we're going to have a commercial coming up. And after this, Ronnie, thank you for being here with us.
Sure, thanks for having me.
You know, I look forward to seeing you as soon as I get down. I'm going to Nashville. We're going to have a show around the 12th. I think it's the 9th through the 12th. There's a festival. As the details, once I have them, I'm going to be advertising it. And after that, I'm hoping to be able to make a few more hours from Nashville down to Tampa and spend a little time.
Great.
We'll see if that turns out, but I'm looking forward to it. And next up, commercial, and then we'll be back. We've got Reba Nicole and the wonderful, talented producer Charlie Allen and songwriter. Bye-bye, Ronnie. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Them. All right. Everybody, here we are. We're going into the second hour of Live with Neve. We're a little 4 minutes behind the hour, and that's great. We have some great talent on the show today, people. You know, I have a lot of friends in country, and I love real country. And Reba Nicole has got a voice that's going to kill you and thrill you. And all I can tell you is she's writing with some very, very talented songwriters. Her producer, Charlie Allen, is a good buddy of mine, and all I will say is I'll let him tell you what he does, but even if you don't know him as a household name, the people he writes for and who call him, and he can call them, put it this way, he's one step separation away from anybody in country music, and he ain't calling them, they're calling him. So, and I tell you what, when he called me up and asked me about Reba having her on, I said, yes. I didn't have to ask him, is she any good? Has she got, what it takes? I just knew it. He asked, so here we are. I look forward to seeing Charlie and maybe Reba when I'm down in April. And without any further ado, let's have you on. Good morning, Reba. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm just having a great time. I'm glad. I appreciate you taking the time and hanging out in the green room. And I know Julie took great care of you, and I know we both have a lot of questions for you. And I hope
I'm here for it. I'm excited.
So tell us, how long have you been playing, writing music, singing? You're cute as hell. You got a great smile. You seem like a really nice kid. And I say that because I'm an old grumpy guy.
I've actually been singing and playing piano since I was 5 years old, and I'm now 24. And then I picked up the guitar around age 13 or 14 to kind of help with my songwriting because I started writing songs when I was 9. We moved to Tennessee from Louisiana, and that I guess kind of triggered some emotions in my little 9-year-old heart. And I started
Right.
writing from there, and I've just kind of improved as time has gone on. And then this year, well, I guess 2020 is when I met Charlie, and we've been working together, and it's been pretty fantastic.
Well, I bet I know Charlie can write. The man can. He certainly knows how to turn a phrase. And
Oh,
we've had
yeah.
him on the show before, and he just writes so good. Every time I hear one of his tunes, one of our mutual friends. I'm curious. Is Diane managing you as well, or is Charlie?
I'm sorry?
Is Charlie managing you, or is Diane Delina?
For right now, Charlie and I are working together and hoping to get this record out in around March or so. And then I think we're gonna
Okay,
go from there and see where it takes us.
great. Well, I can't wait. How many songs are you all working on?
We're planning on doing 6, which is very difficult because I have so many songs that I just want to share with the entire world. But we're gonna go for 6.
Excellent, excellent. So is Charlie there with you?
Not in the room with me. He wanted me to have the spotlight for a little bit.
Oh, that's
Tell
great. Well,
Charlie we
we
said hi.
that's cool. So, just tell me some of your influences. A young lady growing up, did your parents influence you? Did you play in church? How did that work out?
So, really, I listened to a variety of stuff. When I was younger, um, we took road trips and listened to all kinds of things in the car. And actually, Gone Away 20 was one of the CDs that my parents had on replay. And then where I'm from in Louisiana, we listened to a genre of music called swamp pop. So that was kind of some of my background growing up, but always country. Some goth, Hill, and then of course growing up watching Carrie Underwood just bloom. And right now, my favorite, I really enjoy Texas country. Randall King, Cody Johnson. I've recently started listening to Drew Parker, a huge fan of his new album. But I just love them all. It's so fantastic to see all of these new artists growing as well. That gives me a lot of hope for myself.
Sure.
Um, and everybody. I do like a little bit of rock. And then I've sang in church since I was
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
that's
Tell
okay.
me about your experiences singing in church. How big was the choir, and did you have a good band? How was that? Just tell me about the instrumentation and all that good stuff.
So, I was actually singing at a coffee shop by myself, and this lady approached me, Patsy Moore. If you ever had the pleasure to meet her, you know that she's going to be a lifelong friend. But she
All
invited
right.
me to sing at Boonville United Methodist Church. It's a little church at the Beck Lynchburg, I call it. And I don't even think we have an address.
Okay.
But it was just me. She wanted me to come and sing. And we have a little piano there, so I play on that whenever I'm able to go and bring my guitar sometimes. And other than that, I've sang with Amy Cooley and her family in some different churches. But most of the time, it's just me. I haven't been able to sing in a church choir, which would be super cool. I did do choir in
Uh,
high school, show choir and women's chorale. So I do have some choral background, but um, I just do it all. If somebody invites me to something, I'm there for it. I love music. I love hearing other people. I love singing with other people, and writing with Charlie has been amazing. So I'm there for it.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit about your working. When you were writing songs with Charlie, tell me a little bit about your methodology. I know he's got so much knowledge; it probably just pours out of him, and I know because I've talked to him. The guy's the real McCoy, and all I can tell you, I wish I could afford to have him write for me. I'd say that because, boy, he's just such a monster. I mean, God forbid. The guy is, I just like him a lot. I'm not blowing sunshine. He's the real deal. For everybody watching, Charlie also is a law enforcement official down in Nashville, and he puts his life on the line for all of us. So I just want to say thank you to him. And I understand, Reba, that you're also in the public sphere. What do you do for your day job? If I'm not mistaken, you work at an emergency room in Nashville. Is that correct? Or what do you do?
Well, I actually am a labor and delivery nurse.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's different, but cool. My daughter's also a nurse. That's why I was curious.
Yeah, I do labor and delivery, and I'm actually traveling right now. So my current facility is in Odessa, Texas.
Okay. So you're doing the traveling nurse thing with COVID and all that. I guess there's shortages in other specialties to deal with COVID. So there you are, per diem. And well,
There's
I hope you're
always a
getting
demand.
hazardous. Oh, yeah. Well, that's, my daughter's the same thing. She's works in the emergency room at Tampa General. Asia, if you're watching it, your dad's on doing his usual thing, tormenting the airwaves and having fun. And so it's a great job. It's a public service. Nobody can thank you enough, in my opinion. And I just say thank you for everybody. And I know all the people watching this. Hi, Tiffany. We're glad to see you there. Is Tiffany a friend of yours?
Yes.
Hi, Tiff.
Well,
you want to come on?
Is actually Charlie's fiance.
Oh, that's who we're talking about. Hey, Tiffany, I know you. Gosh, my brain, I'm hell with names and stuff, and figures and math, ciphering's a little beyond me at times. At any rate, well, we're glad to have her here. And I'm sure she's really helping you out as well, because I know if she can, she lives with Charlie. And as far as I'm concerned, she's all right in my book. If she can take care of him good, she'll take care of anybody. And I'm sure she wants you to succeed, and I do too.
Yeah, she's
so,
amazing.
Hal, how do you feel about maybe playing a song? How do you feel about playing a song?
I know we were having trouble earlier. I'm not sure if Julie was ever able to get my email, or if she wants us to try live.
No, we couldn't get it. The email, for whatever reason, didn't come through. You want to try and just play it with the guitar, and we'll see. And if it doesn't work, what we'll do is after we do the show, we'll post, we'll figure out how to get your stuff up. Maybe we'll have you play it, and then we'll do it like you'll do it live at home, and we'll figure out another time, but we'll post it in. We'd love to try and get you to play, because I think everybody, I've heard you even, just fooling around in the sound check, and you sing too good to not get every attempt to get you on here.
So we'll get off and we'll let you sing. How about that?
Yes.
Will that work?
Okay.
Is Charlie now ready to come on in?
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Hey, Charlie, come on, bring yourself over here, brother.
He's standing at the door.
Come on in, Charlie.
Yeah, we're going to play.
Maybe I see him walking in now in the mirror or coming around. Maybe if we can get you to turn your phone sideways so we could see both of you. Or is he just going to play in the background?
I don't think he wants to be on camera.
Okay.
Okay. You guys go ahead.
All right, guys. Here we go. Reba Nicole. Everybody, check this girl out.
All right. You ready? I pick up my high heel off your bedroom floor. I try not to make a sound as I slip out your door. I said this would be the very last time, 'cause I can't do this anymore. You don't love me like I love you. You don't see me. You don't see me the way I see you. I tried so hard to be everything you needed, but I'm living in a fairy tale, and now I finally see it. But you don't love me. You don't love me like I love you. I question myself, why was I ever enough? Oh, it's killing me inside. 'Cause after all this time, you don't love me. You don't love me like I love you. And you don't see me. You don't see me the way I see you. I tried so hard to be everything you needed, but I'm living in a fairy tale, and now I finally see it, that you don't love me. You don't love me like I love you. Thank you, Charlie.
Neil, you have to unmute yourself. I can't unmute you. You're on mute.
Oh, I've been saying such nice things and nobody could hear them.
Nope. Go ahead. Try it
I just
again.
wanted to
What's
say,
that?
I said, I was saying to you before I turned my mic on that I just think your song is great. Your voice is, the fact that you came on
thank
with
you.
us cold.
Just like that.
Did you warm up this morning?
This morning, like before we originally talked, I did. I was putting on makeup, singing at the same time.
I love it. I love it. The best thing. Well, I'll tell you what, Charlie, I know you don't want to be on camera. I can't wait to meet you guys in April, and Julie and I will be terrorizing the country. There's rumors have it that we'll be visiting, and in the very near future, some live remotes from some interesting places. I'm talking to a lot of folks out west and talking to a lot of folks in Nashville. And heck, I'm going to call you back, and I hope Charlie keeps us abreast of what you're doing. And, we're going to friend you and watch you and see where you go. Hell, hopefully you'll remember us when you're up there hanging out with Dolly and, making cash.
Of course. I hope you'll have me back. I've had a good time.
Well, we'll definitely have you back, and we're going to roll out. After this segment, Julie and I are going to be on for just about another 15 minutes. That'll conclude this portion of our day. For everybody watching, we've had the lovely and talented Reba Nicole. We've had some great Charlie Allen in the background lending moral support. And we have Tiffany. Tiffany, love you. We're going to all meet up, and I can't wait to see you guys in Nashville real soon. So roll it, Julie. We're at All right, all right. That's my version of a little Leonard Cohen song you might have heard a time or two. Hope you get to hear it a lot more. For all of you watching, we really had a nice time with Reba. She's a sweetheart, young kid. And, a lot of people like to bitch about the young people, and they kind of have to, all these old men have been saying since time has gone on how crappy things are going to be when the young people take over. And so my mind is kind of the mind that we have a lot of wisdom with age we acquire, sometimes brutally. But a lot of people can lighten up on the young people a little bit. Remember what you were like as a kid, and I say that just because, hell, I'm just a big kid now. I don't know why anything should have to change at 60 years old almost. Um, Julie and I are sitting here for just a few minutes. We have another show coming on. I'm going to give you the background on the show coming up. Julie, here she is. Hey, babe,
Hey.
what's happening? Wasn't that great fun?
Yeah, she was great. She was wonderful.
I liked her. She's a cute kid. So, Jules, today we have Dan Mockensturm. I don't think you've ever met him. He's in my friends. He was my professor at Full Sail for Synclavier, digital audio recording, sequencing, all the things that now we can do on a laptop. Like what that device is, Synclavier, for those of you who are not familiar with it. That thing costs about between $120,000 and $250,000, depending on whether it was like Al Di Meola's or Stevie Wonder's or Frank Zappa's. A lot of people got into it, and I went there to learn how to use it, which Full Sail be very, very good to me. Taught me how to run that. Now I can fluently cruise around on this hardware we use now for the most part. And when I don't know it, I got Julie, so she kind of takes up, or we just both sit there with this look on our face. What's wrong? What's next?
I don't get it.
Fuck! What is going wrong with this?
No wonder. It's in Chinese, the directions. That's why.
Oh, I love those. And remember Mike Imperato, our rant man, he used to talk about the size of the instruction. Mike, if you're out there watching the show, man, first off, prayers to Mike's family. Today his son is undergoing another round of chemotherapy, and he's in our prayers. Whether you're a prayer person or not, send some good vibes, some good mojo, say a prayer, throw some salt over your shoulder, whatever incantations you find appropriate. Please say a prayer for him. He needs it. His son is a young man. He's too young to be going through this crap. Another thing I want to mention while we're just talking about the show, Julie, what did you think of the response we got from Irish? He also sent me a note today, which I'll send you later.
Oh, yes. Irish from Friday. For those of you who did see.
Give us the background, Jules.
Yeah. Irish had a very interesting story. And I don't want to give too much away, but the long and short, I mean, you really need to watch the 5-part video that we have with him. But he was just a child who ended up essentially being framed for murder, and was in jail since 14 or 17, and with life with no parole or whatever. And he had some good folks behind him who actually did, their job to find out that he was innocent and he was not guilty in the least. So he shares the story, and I mean, now I'm getting chills. So and goosebumps. So he shares his story, what he's been through. He's this kindest, gentlest, like most even-keeled person I've met in a very long time. I mean, he was just able to keep it rolling. But it's like Neil said earlier on our show that day, on Friday's show. It's not one of our typical yuck it ups, but what Irish had to say was really incredible, and he sent a couple of voice, or actually a video, little vids that he sent to Neil and I today or earlier, just about how much he appreciates life, how much he appreciated, being on the show. And it was so exciting for him because, imagine, being trapped in prison for so much of your life, and then you come out and technology's different. Everything's different. Everything's changed. And he made the point that he had to stand there and watch the cars go across go by before he could cross the street, because he couldn't gauge the timing of the vehicles, because he had never been around that. He hadn't grown up with that, because he had been imprisoned. So, but he's a great watch. You could find some of I think it's parts 1, 3, and 5, I want to say, is on Facebook, and then YouTube. Patreon has parts 2, 4, and if there's a 6th one. So between Patreon, YouTube, and Facebook, you'll be able to get the whole story, parts 1 through 5 or 6, whichever one it is. So yeah, great story, nice, really super sweet guy, really fun. It's a great thing to listen to. I mean, also I think it applies to anybody, because it's showing that the system is broken, and there is somebody who is, how are you not listening to a child say something? I mean, why would you blame a child for do something so horrific? I mean, oh wait, Neil, your mic is off. You're gonna have to unmic. Oh, there you go.
I'm unmuted. For everybody watching, I really suggest you watch it. And I say this because whether you like music or you like me or you think the show's good, this is bigger than me or the show or anything else. This is about Irish. Right. We withheld his name at his request, but he's just such a natural guy. I mean, I've been talking to him every other day since the show, and he's just such a great guy. And I told him, all you've got to do is pick up the phone. I'm just going to tell you, he's a musician. If you watch the show, you'll see that he's very talented, and he sings amazing. I'm a big guy who believes in redemption and getting back if you get knocked on your ass. All I can say is those of you who know me and know my story know that I've done some pretty dumb things on occasion and been knocked down pretty hard. I'm still here. I'm walking around, and I just love people who get back up. You get kicked 20 times, get up 22 or 3. It might get kicked again. Or you might get really, oh, Lord have mercy. Charlie's calling on the phone, but I can't take it right now because we're live. Charlie, if you're out there, I'll call you after the show. What's that?
And I was just saying feedback loop. Feedback.
Yes. So for everybody watching, anyhow, now I have someone from New Haven, Connecticut. I think, though, this may be a spam call. I'd love to take it. I'll just tell Charlie I can't talk to him. Message.
Right, but it's not going to be a problem for you to take the spam call, right? Because there's not going to be a feedback loop.
Probably. That's why I didn't take it, because for everybody watching, okay, you'll see on the bottom we have a toll-free number that you can call. You can get us at Live with Neve via email at gmail.com. You can get us instant messenger if you want to be on the show, if you want to talk about a show idea, if you want to send us money, there's a PayPal right there, Live with Neve. Remember, I'm not a preacher and I don't work for NPR. I'm just a guy and a gal and a bunch of cool friends coming by. If you've been watching, say again?
It's a kick-ass green screen that takes you to anywhere.
I know. Why is this stupid thing? It looks like I'm going Terminator mode with the green screen. Let's check this out.
That's a good call. It is kind of looking Terminator mode.
It looks like let's see, the shit that happens.
Oh, what's that? Whoa!
I'm fucking melting. What the fuck? I've been time transported to some fucked up place. What is going on here? I can't imagine. Holy cow. I think I'm like on Mars or something. What in hell? I just woke up and here I am. I was talking to Julie and where the fuck am I now?
It looks like you're in the Grand Canyon.
Oh, I'm coming and going, man. You don't want to get in. Remember the fly? It gets really weird sometimes. Look at this. I just got teletransported and I think I'm still caught in the thing. Pardon me, because
you're in the Matrix. Yeah. You're looking okay there.
Oh, did you see that?
Was that? Yeah, what the hell was that?
I swear, I've had the worst day today. I've had like crazy shit going on in the studio. Like there's been objects flying around. There's been shit going wrong. We've had ghosts in the machine. And all of a sudden right there, there's like a royal tape sitting here. And you saw it. instantly
Yeah.
just flew across the room. This is like shit we need Kreskin, but we have our own for you guys watching. We are the only show you'll see. This is driving me nuts that I keep decomposing here. What in God's earth is going on? I swear, a part of me is stuck in the matrix. I'm apparently fading still. God, this is terrible.
Oh my God.
I'm going. Oh, it hurts. It hurts so bad. All right, I think that's maybe a little better.
Your kids fading away as you fade away.
I'm back now.
Back in the
God,
future.
it's great. You know, in the other side, there was no poltergeist activity there.
You're good now.
Did you hear that? Did you just hear that?
No.
I'm telling you, we're like an edition of Ghostbusters.
You're good now. We can't.
I'm
see
really
anything.
scared. I'm scared. These things are awkward. They're awful animals. Is anybody there to help me? That was probably a hell of an eyeball shot. I couldn't even see it. Also, if you're watching, we like to make fun of television and all the things that people do with it. In fact, to tell you the truth, our show, we like to make fun of a lot of things. Basically, it's fuckery in any form that can't be explained by any other term. When we see fuckery, look at you. Speaking of fuckery, what do you got going on, man? You're doing liftoff now. Let's hear some metal shit.
Dude.
Julie's going to go metal on us right now. There you go. Can you do the head spin while playing bass? Can you do that while playing bass?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen you do it.
Around and all that, bang it up and down, let it go everywhere.
So Julie, have you been getting any interesting? Have you gotten any interesting hate mail, or have you gotten any dick shots lately, or anything weird like that?
Lately. No dick shots. I'm
Excellent.
Really disappointed. I need some dick shots. So yeah, send them.
Well, again, we're just sitting here having fun. Our musical guests are kind of done for the day, and as long as we have a few of you who are sort of paying attention and having fun, if you're watching this later, we had some great guests on. So real back to the top. It is available on everything. Live with Neve, the Brothers Grimm, the Grimmer Twins. Those are my former bands and still kind of bands because we're all still friends and you never know what happens. The song that opened up this bit was a song I did with them. It's taken us 4 years of fuckery because I had my health scare and then COVID hit, and I have one line. Everything else is done. Lisa Silverberg McGowan from the band Peanut Butter Bridges sang on it with me. We're going to show some of the building of this. Right now, where I'm at is I have to go to the studio to record the beginning, the end of a line, the first pick me up where it's really sharp, which is why I missed it, and then just sing the next line. And I'll do that 2 or 3 times, and I'll fix it. It'll be like perfect. It'll punch in. But the song we recorded on an SM58. And this is the original vocal track. We had a huge microphone set up, and basically the way it went, we went really quickly in, click track, JR played the piano while I sang the thing. So we did the song, and then I just sang it in the booth for everybody else to come in, the bass player. Then I went in the studio and banged the drum kit out. That first day we got the bass, the rhythm. No, we didn't get the bass. We got the piano, the click track, the back scratch vocal, and then we got a second scratch vocal, right? Yeah. So while I was in the hospital, JR was out there playing with the mix, and people were coming in to record on it, and stuff was going on in my absence, and it's finally done, but for one line. That's why when you hear it at the opening, it doesn't play too long because we don't want to get to that one line. I'm a kind of a picky bastard, and I hope anybody who listens to it likes it. It will be available on Spotify and all these usual outlets. Again, if you're giving donations, it takes money for clearance, so you can share a dime or pay us a hamburger. I don't really care, you see the PayPal thing, but you can mail us cool stuff like that we could, I don't know, gift cards.
Give away to our audience.
Right. If you have a business, tickets, while we're talking about this, we have a sponsor starting in February. This is kind of exciting, Julie, our little friend who will be stopping by occasionally, the one and only Vinny Brand, who runs the, we're hoping to get our rant man. I am hoping to push his career in a whole new direction. Rob, we love you, man. And all I can tell you is we got some cool news for you, buddy. We're going to be doing some live shows at the comedy, God Almighty, the Stress Factory. I should know this like on the top of my tongue. I was talking to Vinny this morning, by the way. He sends regards to you, Jules. He
Vinny,
he was yucking it up. Asked me if you were going to be able to do the live shoot with us, and I told him, well, if he, I told him if he gets you a plane ride and puts you up at the Hilton across the street from the club, you'll be here. Right now, guys, you will probably be seeing a bit of Neil live with Neve at the Stress Factory. And who knows, maybe I can squeeze him into, when he comes on, maybe I can get him to put, something on his banner sign that I sold him, his very expensive digital sign system that I did sell and install. I tell the story occasionally that he told my boss after I sold like 150 grand, I don't even know what it was a lot of equipment. He tells, we're there to sign it. My boss is a great guy, but he never at the time, like, he was hip, but he was like the anti-hip. He just looked like Bill Gates, had that kind of a mind. Great guy, brilliant, funny. He just doesn't have he's nothing like I am. That's why he hires a psycho like me to go out and bang on doors and, pull the money in. But he tells my boss at the signing ceremony, which I was going to give him one of my special pens. Let me see here. If you watch, you can't see it, but it says on here, Archusticks Northeast, nvannerty at me.com, which you only hear this. You don't get it. If you try to email me, it'll go to our standard thing. For anybody who sends us either the best guest idea, the best picture of a weird human trick, videos encouraged, any one of you will get one of my pens. These things, I will put my saliva on it so that you can clone me. So for a nice donation, or you can send us some good Sensimilia or something. I'm not encouraging anything illegal. I'm just saying it's medical here in Jersey. You can send us some goodies from the dispensary. Or you can just send us story ideas, weird tricks, people we should have on. As long as it's not X-rated, fattening, it should be gluten-free.
So people can just send us little video clips, like of 15 to 30 seconds of their bit. Is that where you're looking forward for?
Well, yeah, and in fact, for our hecklers, we encourage you to include a brief critique of us. If you want to do video fuckery, we'll raise it to a really good level. While we're talking about new guests, we have a new guest cast member who's joining us on February 7th. Julie, how about, you think, you have any relationship problems you need to talk to Dr. Steph about? I'm telling you something, guys. Julie has her ways of, no slight will go unpunished. It may not happen today, but the next time she has a chance, it's going to come slinging out of nowhere. Like this shit that goes on in the studio all the time. It's like, you see that? John Spear, wherever you are, man, I'm having a paranormal incident here. This was a fucking if you have itchy feet, you have athlete's foot, which I don't know why I would have athlete's foot, but I apparently do. Itches like hell, and I'm as far from an athlete right now. I'll cripple my way down the finish line. I mean, at any rate,
I think we've degraded down to, now that we're at athletes.
This is called the afterglow. This is like making love and having the afterglow. A little spooning.
Post-coital.
Yeah, post-coital. Yeah, it's like smoke a cigarette if you need it. Go into the bathroom so you don't fart in front of some new person you just, woke up with. No, I'm kidding. We all have those stories. And all I can tell you is if you send us your best dating horror story, that's what we're looking for. Or call up if you have a screwed relationship. If you just have minor things with your girlfriend, like, I don't know, all of a sudden she started a meth lab in the basement. If she's just having those days.
Impressive.
It can happen.
But how would you not know she had a meth lab in the basement? I mean, you guys living together, theoretically? I mean,
theoretically they would be either common law marriage or just a couple of skanks hooking up, or maybe they're in love. If they're meth addicts, they're just in love with the pipe, so they're in the ultimate form of codependency, which we don't encourage here because you can wake up a few years later and go, man, that was a fucking party. Holy cow. You know, I'm amazed. There's 9 people who've liked us. There's 5 people here currently watching us. And I know you guys are bored. Trust me, shortly we have an excellent show coming on. We're going to be talking, switching gears. Look at you, Julie. You're getting kind of scary, man. You might be going into the Matrix. You're getting kind of that Catwoman vibe of that chick who did all the plastic surgery.
Right?
Let's see what I look like here. I'm going to go and get
I look like a Klingon.
Yeah, maybe kind of got a Klingon vibe. A little makeup.
No.
Man, we get some latex and, fix you up. A little makeup on stage.
No,
you got it going on. You'd be one fuck of a Klingon, Julie. You're going to, now what's going to happen? You're going to get Klingon porn dick shots. There's some weasel sitting in a basement. Klingon.
Yeah, so make sure you speak in Klingon when you.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I have a Klingon dictionary, like every true Star Trek geek should have. That's a little Middle Eastern sounding, but no, yeah, it's like ha ho ha. Sounds real throaty.
Do it again. Ho ha ho. Ho ha ho. Show me your war face.
I don't remember any of it now.
We can do a haka.
I used to be really good at Klingon, but.
All right. For you people looking at this, I will take folk remedies for a broken wrist. Soon to be remedied. If it's not broken, it's like just hasn't cracked through yet, but it's one of the perils of being a drummer. Hence, I have a high tolerance for pain. You can tell that in my selection of girlfriends in the past.
All right, on that note, then.
At any rate, what else can I talk about? So, guys, we're going to go live. I'm going to really get us out of the gutter here. We're going to fly like a phoenix ascending, fucking flying up high, out of the volcano here. So since we've now done the showdown for all of you, we have about 3 o'clock. We're going to have a friend of mine. If you IMDb his name, you'll fucking be amazed, okay? Remember, that was supposed to be beeped out with the time delay, but it doesn't always catch me. I'm too quick for it sometimes. Excuse me. It's getting to be a habit, Julie. I don't know what's on with these computer things. We'll have to use Streamlink a little more, ask them what exactly we're paying for.
Cool. So are we ready to get out of this show?
I think we are. I think we're going to close out the show. And for everybody watching, we're going to be back. And as soon as we have, it's 2:36. We will be back at 3 with Dan Mockensturm, amazing engineer, one of my teachers, and a guy that you really, if you like movies and you want to know the behind the scenes nuts and bolts, Julie, I think we should do Foley in the background when he's on to make his show a little more interesting. When he talks about Foley, I'll start having some clip clops. And if you have some sound effects program, we can kind of terrorize them while we're doing the show. Anyway, that's it. So we're out of here. See you at 3 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Live with Neve. We're out to get you.
Follow, subscribe, like us anywhere you find webcasts and on all of our social media to get bonus material.